there's some little offense starting to be taken, isn't there? Little offense starting to be taken. Anything else today?
You guys get healed up and rested, or you guys still questionable?
We have a couple still questionable for the most part. I feel pretty good. But let's see. Wednesday will be a great day for us to be more definitive. Anything else?
So, just talk about playing Utah State. You've mentioned that you want to win the in-state games as much as possible. What is this type of event?
Well, considering only one in-state team will play us this year, it's a huge game. It's probably the featured game in-state, and it means a lot. The two teams honor tradition, and this particular game matters a lot to both teams. And again, Friday night before conference is a great venue.
You guys are obviously very good at rushing the football, and their strength on defense is stopping the rush.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that dynamic between the two?
Oh, I think Utah State's done a nice job defensively the past 2 or 3 years, and I think offensively they're still they're powerful. Matt's done a really nice job, so we already know it's going to be a difficult game and a volatile game, and Utah State is super aggressive defensively, and they play hard, so yeah, it'll be a good test for us.
You always do some self-scouting during bye week. What anything turn up in your self-scout you can tell us about?
There's quite a bit that turned up. Maybe not so much that I would tell you about, other than less is more. Even though we've been relatively simple, probably looking to be simpler still, and I think we can be more efficient even with that.
Does your guys' scheming change if Chucky doesn't play?
Not necessarily. Chucky's ability to create and his leadership and his experience, certainly you have to acknowledge. But really, by preparing for him, really anything else besides that, you're kind of ready for.
And what you saw before he went down most recently, did he look the same to you since coming back?
I think any player, prior to an ACL and then right when they come back, in terms of first 3 weeks, I don't think they'll ever look exactly the same. And I think he would be just that. He's still super fast and quick and explosive, but he has had an ACL, and it is early in the season coming off the ACL. So I think he looks as diligent as he's been. There's still a difference, and rightly so. That's just part of the recovery process.
You still haven't solidified that inside linebacker spot between Manoah and Jeremiah. Is that going to go on all season, kind of rotating?
I think it will, and we're even experimenting with ideas of playing them both at the same time. And so they've both done a nice job. And the good news is we have enough linebackers to rotate in and create that competition. And so you might see different combinations coming up.
Same thing at corner with Jordan Johnson and Michael Davis?
Jordan, Rob, and Prater and Mike Davis, we're still identifying the best way to manage all that because they're all good players. And so some are getting a few too many reps and some aren't quite getting enough, so Nick's working hard to figure out how the best way to rotate that is.
You were about 12 the last time that Utah State won a game in Provo. Considering how competitive it usually is year to year, is that an unusual streak to you that would go back that far?
I think it is, knowing just the games we've played. There was one, I think we had a tip pass that we caught right at the end, and some others that have been really close, so it surprises me.
You guys used to play them 2 for 1, and now you're transitioning to 1 for 1. Is that kind of a sign of respect for Utah State and how far their programs come?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think Utah State has done a nice job, but it's also a sign that as an independent, we need games, and we need to do what we have to do to get games, and so it's both.
Did you watch a lot of college football Saturday and kind of scout some of your competition as far as for rankings and stuff like that?
No, I didn't actually. I'm trying to think. I watched one quarter of one game, and that was my alma mater, the Oregon State Beavers, against the Fighting Trojans, and then that was enough.
Was this
Holly watched quite a few games, though.
Was this bye week different from other bye weeks? Did you guys do anything differently this time?
We were a lot more physical and a lot more demanding on them last week than we probably had been before, and this team seems to want that. Can handle it, and we have more depth. So I think we practiced harder than what we normally do.
Do you think that's a model you'll continue to follow?
I would love it to be that way. If we can have the depth and competition that we currently have, it allows us to I think, move our program ahead farther and faster than if we're limited. Limited practice days and past bye weeks have just been trying to stall, really, and do as little contact, but really do some cerebral work. We actually were really physical this week.
You said going into the bye week, you thought it was coming at a good time. Now that you've gone through it, getting ready for the next game, would you say it was?
Yeah, based on the day's practice, I like it a lot. Sometimes after a bye week, the first practice back, man, especially when we're full padded and early in the morning, there's a chance that that could have been sluggish, and it was just the opposite.
You alluded to